Hi friends, we are going to talk about the neighborhood or the little town of Brookside today. Brookside, Missouri. You ready, Glennis? I think she's ready. Okay, Glennis, let's talk about Brookside. Brookside is one of my favorite areas in Kansas City, and it's not really a city, it's more of an area, and it encompasses a whole bunch of subdivisions that I've covered in recent neighborhood reviews. So I'm gonna pop some of those up here so you can kind of hop back and forth and see some of those more particular subdivisions. This is gonna be kind of a wide overview of this area. So we've got a lot of different things to look at today. So here we go. So Brookside is a historic neighborhood. It was started and built in the 1920s. It was actually a planned community and part of the Country Club district. Country Club Plaza is just, let me think here for a second. It's just north of Brookside, and it's also a beautiful area of shopping and restaurants and nightlife, a little bit of nightlife, and it's a very historic, special part of Kansas City with the plaza lights, which are just about ready to turn off these days. Brookside was the very first suburban shopping area. It was pre-plaza, and you can see Brookside is so quaint. These shops, many of them are locally owned still, which is pretty great. There are some big box restaurants and some shops as well, but lots of locally owned restaurants, lots of locally owned shops. They're struggling right now, but we're supporting them as best as we can and doing as much as we can for them. And they're so quaint and sweet and special. One of the things that the people in Brookside love about this area is that they can walk. It's very walkable. They can walk the many parks to go visit. They can visit these shops. They can go and have dinner, or happy hour, or takeout. And you can find everything you need really close by. And for quite a few folks, it's a walkable distance. We also have in this area the Brookside Art Fair, which happens in the spring. Warm-up St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is one of my favorites. It's a Saturday before St. Patrick's Day, and we've been missing a couple options, Glennis, haven't we, to walk in the Great Dane group, and hopefully we get to do that this March. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I don't know if it'll happen, but I sure hope so. The area of Brookside is basically 55th Street to Gregory Boulevard, which is 71st Street, and Ward Parkway to Troost. That's a huge area, and within that area are lots of little individual subdivisions. Since it is such a big spread, we have a big spread of price and size of homes. So you could buy a fixer-upper here, or a smaller home, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, for around $150. Those go fast, but you can find one and then really do some improvements to it, or it might actually be ready to go, up to $2 million and above. So as we'll drive through here, you'll see a variety of architecture, a variety of price points, and it's really a diverse area. All of these homes, this is Kansas City, Missouri, so they are Kansas City, Missouri schools. There are some really fantastic options. Academy Lafayette is now K through 12, which is a full French immersion school. They also do teach Chinese, and I think maybe German. There's a few other languages. If I didn't have dyslexic kids, we would have definitely settled in the Brookside area and done something like that, but that just wasn't in the cards. There are lots of private schools as well if you don't want to tackle the Kansas City, Missouri school system. So there are many options for schools for your kids here. So many different architectural styles, and again, that's one of the things I love about these old neighborhoods. There are Tudors, we have 2 stories, stories and a half, colonials, new builds, a few, not as many as you might find in Prairie Village or Leawood, but there are a few modern builds being put down in here. But it's so much of a historic neighborhood and area that People are really more into renovating and restoring these old homes than they are tearing them down and starting over, which I really appreciate personally, and think that that's a beautiful way to handle it. Brookside also has some really great walking trails and a ways for, again, people are outside walking their dogs, walking their kids, walking themselves. And the old streetcar track went through Brookside, and that was the original one. My mom, who grew up in Kansas City, we all did, but she remembers living down here as a child and riding the streetcar to the plaza, and has some really fond memories of the streetcar. But it has turned into a trail, and it's paved, like gravel paved, and you'll find families and kids and parents and older folks and single folks riding their bikes and walking the dog or walking themselves on this path all year long, even in the winter. And it's just a lovely way to get outside and enjoy neighbors and the community. Lots of parks in Brookside as well, and it's just really a wonderful place to be. Okay, Glennis, that's about all we got, isn't it? There she is. Thanks for going on a tour of Brookside with us. Hopefully you had a chance to pop over to some of those other neighborhoods that I was featuring above us. If not, I'll put a few of those links in the notes, and you can hop over there if I can figure out how to do that. Well, maybe I won't do that. We'll see. And I look forward to seeing you on our next Kansas City tour. Thanks for watching.